May it please court, Your Honor, this is the state of South Carolina versus Tasha Denise Levy. Your Honor, Ms. Levy was arrested for domestic violence, third degree. She is pleading to assault battery, third degree, I believe, under Alford. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And Mr. Scott Robinson is here in court representing Ms. Levy. So the state's allowing her to plead to DUI first offense. And Your Honor, the other charge on that is habitual traffic offender, and she is also pleading to that. And both cases have recommendations, Your Honor. May I approach?
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand, ma'am. Speak into the mic and state your full name.
Tasha Denise Levy.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony of this court to be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Robinson, you represent Tasha Denise Levy.
Yes, sir, Your
You
Honor.
explain to her the nature of all three of these charges, possible penalties she could receive in her constitutional rights with regard to a jury trial.
I have.
All right, ma'am, today are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that. Okay, what drugs are you taking?
I take Lamictal. That's for anxiety, depression, bipolar. I take Peace Park for anxiety. At night I take Seroquel.
Okay, are you taking those medicines as they are prescribed?
Yes, every day.
And do those medicines help you think clearly, or do they impact your ability to think?
Sometimes.
Okay. Are you thinking clearly here today?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you understand that you're here to plead guilty to 3 separate charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Robinson, you had any difficulty in your discussions with Ms. Levy, with her understanding the nature of what y'all have spoken about?
Not at all, Your Honor. And as you know, she was on the trial list, so we have been in frequent contact, not quite daily, but almost. And I have not noticed any type of deficiencies with her ability to understand what's been going on throughout the time period.
All right. She certainly appears to be confident. And all this is about, Ms. Levy, is just I've got to make sure that you understand what you're doing and that the medication that you're taking isn't having any negative impact on your ability to understand and know the consequences of what's taking place here today.
Yes,
right? Looking at these charges, assault battery in the third degree carries up to 30 days in the county jail as a maximum. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Driving under the influence first offense carries 48 hours to 30 days or a $400 fine. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And habitual traffic offender carries up to 5 years in prison as a maximum penalty. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand that if you get any future charges for driving under the influence, that they will be enhanced by this conviction.
Yes, sir.
And you understand that the DUI and the habitual traffic offender conviction will likely have negative impacts on your driver's license status, and that is determined by the DMV, and I don't have any control over whether you have a driver's license or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you plead, ma'am, you give up certain constitutional rights. First, you give up your right to remain silent in the jury meeting you guilt. Next, you give up your right to a jury trial, and that jury trial, the state would have the burden of proving you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt for all 12 jurors. In that jury trial, you can question the state's witnesses against you, you can call witnesses to testify for you, and you can present a defense. But when you plead guilty, you give up those jury trial rights. You waive any defenses you may have, and there will not be a trial. You understand all that?
Yes, sir.
All right, looking at these indictments, indictment 2019 GS 430696, that was originally for domestic violence in the third degree. However, I've been informed that you're going to offer a plea under the Supreme Court case of North Carolina versus Alford to assault battery in the third degree. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The indictment alleges that you did cause physical harm or injury to James Levy by striking him in the face in violation of section 162520 of the South Carolina Code of Laws, that you are pleading to assault battery in the third degree. How do you plead under North Carolina versus Alford?
Guilty.
All right. Pleading guilty freely and voluntarily.
Yes, sir.
Satisfied with the services of Mr.
I
Robinson?
am absolutely.
All right. And you're pleading guilty to these 3 charges because you are in fact guilty.
Yes.
Ms. Hill.
Your Honor, may it please the court, on January 19, 2019, at 323 Grantham Street in City of Sumter and County of Sumter, police were called to that address by the victim in the case, Mr. James Levy, who, I don't know if they're still married, Your Honor, but at the time, Miss Cal Levy and Mr. Levy were married. Mr. Levy had some health problems and was much older at the time than Miss Cal Levy, and he was feeling that there was some verbal altercations, and he felt that day, continuing throughout the day, he felt it necessary to call law enforcement. And when law enforcement came, they were on one side of the door, and the couple was on the other side of the door, and there is a little dispute over, but the law enforcement heard what sounded like to them a slap or a punch, and then Miss Cal Levy opened the door, and Mr. Levy said that she had hit him.
All right, ma'am, that would be what the state would present at trial if you were to take this case to trial. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about the other situations.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, on June the 10th, 2022, officers responded to a collision on Liberty Street, which is, of course, in Sumter County. Officer Cote, Mary Cote of the Sumter Police Department was the person who came on scene. There were reports by I don't believe the person was injured in the collision, but the person who collided into the car was Miss Cal Levy. And when Officer Cody was talking to her, Officer Cody determined she thought Miss Cal Levy might be under the influence of something. So Miss Cal Levy asked to be checked out to the hospital, and Officer Cody asked for a blood sample, and Miss Cal Levy would not provide the blood sample. But because of the way she was driving, the erratic way, she was charged with driving under the influence. And Your Honor, when they charged her, of course, they found out she had been determined to be a habitual traffic offender. There's a court certification in our file from the highway driver services director saying that she has been declared a habitual traffic offender.
And that period was included the day of June 10, 2022. All right, Ms. Cavalier, those the facts regarding the DUI and the H2A, do you agree those are substantially correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, I find there's a substantial basis for those two charges. I also find that there's a substantial factual basis for the offered plea. Ms. Cavalier has been a knowing, voluntary, intelligent waiver of her right to trial, and she's had the advice of counsel returned with whom she's satisfied. I will accept all these pleas. I also find that the reduction from the domestic violence to assault and battery third is sufficient bargain for North Carolina versus Alford. And Ms. Robertson, I'll be happy to hear from you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Levy is 48 years old. She lives here in Sumter alone at this time. She is still legally married to Mr. Levy, who is confined to a nursing home, Your Honor. She has 5 children, ranging in age from 34 down to 26 years old. And she does have an associate's degree, which she earned some time ago. She is currently on disability. As she described to you at the beginning of the plea, she is on a number of medications for some mental health problems, which have been disabling. She worked for a good portion of her life, but has been on disability for some time. And as I told you then, throughout my conversations with Ms. Levy, which have been several months in pretty regular contact since the trial list came out, in preparation for this case, I have not noticed any type of deficiency. She's a very intelligent lady. I've had no problem communicating with her, and her memory on the subjects has been without question, Your Honor. We believe that the recommendation by the state on all of these matters is appropriate, and we simply ask that you follow that. I think they're all within reason for the charges and the facts of the case that you asked that you follow. With respect to the time served sentences, Your Honor, she did 2 days on each of those separately. So she satisfied the 48-hour requirement for the DUI first, and also would be entitled to 2 days on the assault and battery third degree.
And Your Honor, if I may, for victim notification on the DB, Mr. Lee's in a nursing home, I have no idea which one it is, I'd have to find out from.
And he's incapacitated, so that's one of the reasons. Rather than put him through the pain and aggravation of trying to come up here, we don't believe he would be able to handle that well, so that was one of the other, I think, incentives from this league, including we could spare him from that.
You know, the fact that he is a resident of a nursing home, and it's 2 days, credit for 2 days current, and the HTO 3 years in Department of Corrections as suspended and placed on probation for 13 months. And you credit for 2 days on that, and it's concurrent with the other pleas. Good luck to them.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.